everybody, and welcome back. This is the UPC official channel where you can keep up to date with all of the ultimate Pokemon Championship throwdowns on Pokemon Showdown. It's me, Elite Four Will 23, otherwise known as Will, or otherwise known as Hey You, otherwise known as that guy who does all the talking sometimes. But I'm also with that other guy who does the talking sometimes, and that would be Dean,
Hello.
aka known as the Big Schlick Mystic. No one calls him that. No, I have no idea. But Dean is also known as CO27 or the Cobalt Combatant. And we're going to do a little bit of a draft breakdown for you guys. We have just started officially season 10 of the UPC. This is the what do you, what do you want to call this, Dean? What is the Latin term for 10 years? I'm trying to remember.
Latin for 10.
I don't know, man. It's fine. But this is our 10th season. That's incredible. We're starting it out again. And it's not singles this time, just like last season, season 9. We are doing VGC format, ladies and gentlemen. That is going to be
Yeah.
oh.
Considering that
Yeah, it's
a
going to
few of the guys in the league, this is their first time playing with this generation's Mons in the VGC format, it's going to be interesting to see, how their team picks are going to work together through the season.
I think everybody feels pretty comfortable because that's the natural progression of the game is playing in a singles format where it's turn switch based and all that stuff. You can do all of that pretty well. Just kind of segue you're in from just play away in from just playing the regular games to doing singles format. But then I don't know, Dean. What do you think about how many other dynamics are added when you come into a 2-on-2 bring 4 out of your 6 Pokemon team format? What do you think? How much more complex does it become at that?
Well, a lot of times with the singles format, you can pretty much tell what a team strategy is going to be based on what the Mons are. And even in
Right.
that, in a lot of cases, you still can't. But there's a very kind of niche field that you can get a idea on. But with doubles, you could bring, potentially three different ways that a team could work together, at least, between the six Pokemon being picked each time. I
Really?
mean, like you could run, half rain, half sand, half rain, half hail, sun and sand, trick room, tailwind, anything like that.
There's so many extra dynamics, and in singles, those things just do not have that big of a play, right? I mean, but in doubles, it's crucial. It's so big, and I think that's what's really really cool about the complexity of just a doubles format, and then on top of that, a VGC format. Is that there's just so much more from so many more Pokemon that just don't really have a place maybe in singles. Like you mentioned, in singles, you have these setups to where you have a pretty good idea out of a team of 6 what is going to be that saved in the back cleanup sweeper to try to win the game for the person, or those idealistic tanks. But in doubles, you know, listen, it's all about the combos, man. It's about those synergistic combos and about getting your turns right. And every turn matters so
Mm-hmm.
much more, in my opinion, in BGC. It's crazy. It's so critical of every little decision and every little ability, EV spreads, so on. And then you put that into a draft format where we've got 10 guys duking it out week to week. You better be on your game. You got to have everything tuned to the max.
Now, for sure, you just gotta, it's a game of information and a game of misinformation. If you can gather good info from, the previous week or use that info against your opponent, you can always mix up things in a way that you've not done, make them think that you're doing it the same way you are, and then bam, critical moment, change everything up.
Absolutely. Like playing a hand of poker, you got to keep the cards close to your chest. But
Mm-hmm.
in a way, this is kind of like this is kind of like
Wait,
liar's diet from Pirates of the Caribbean, man. You ever seen them? They're like 3, 4. Anyways, it's going to be good. And that's another thing. You kind of touched on it there for a second. It's not just best of one game anymore, guys. VGC format is best 2 out of 3. You have to beat the guy not once, but twice out of 3 games. That's ooh, Ooh, sometimes it's not very definitive. I mean, really, it's not. Sometimes it comes down to just a sliver or a move hit or a critical hit or literally anything, a incorrect protect. There is so much that goes on, and there's a lot more gameplay because you're playing those best 2 out of 3 matches.
I know I've mentioned to several people that it's bad to bring just one strategy to a battle because if you play the person the first game, you may win that first match if your strategy is completely overwhelming the first time it's shown. But like you said, you got to beat them 2 times.
Time to adjust in between the rounds. They can change their lead. They're maybe not changing the sets of the EV spreads of the Pokemon on their team, but they're totally picking out what they want to do where to defeat your strategy. And that readjustment is what makes this entire format so much more complex. No, man, I love it. I really love it. And then, another great thing is I may be fangirling a bit over the VGC format. It is my favorite. I just won't lie to you. I like it. But I also really, really enjoy, on top of the fact that we do this in VGC format, is the fact that we are doing it in Draft League. That means everybody has to make these teams and make them edgy and make them perfect to where they will work synergistically by picking one Pokemon at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's 10 dudes in this draft this week or this season, guys. So there's a lot of Pokemon on the table getting cleared every time. We do a serpentine draft, a snake draft, where the person at the top of the list, it will travel from that person, which was Hurley, all the way down to the last person on our list, which was Russell, and then back up. Um, those draft picks, there are things getting taken off the table, and there are kind of some strategic blocks. You can see how a team is developing and what kind of Pokemon would just put that team over the top and say, you know what? Instead of you getting it, I'm going to get that Pokemon. You are at my mercy. That's Draft League. So the complexity of all of that together, plus just the tomfoolery and shenanigans and the haberdashery and the debauchery of doubles and Draft League. Oh boy. Oh man. Ah, I love it. What do you think, Dean?
And I love the draft league format that we've been using the last several seasons. It's you know a lot of times you kind of think that being the last person to draft in the first round is kind of a bad deal for you because what if your first pick gets taken? But at the same time, you get that second pick of the next draft round, so it kind of weighs itself out. But then those in the middle kind of still stay in a really good position. It's just biding your time, finding like prioritizing what you need versus what's being picked.
Yeah. Yeah. And, this particular draft, we had to randomize. We had to shuffle the deck and let maybe not based off of seeding or tiering or anything on last season's finishes or even season eight's finishes, which was our last time we ran the VGC format. This time around, we randomized the deck and we added a new player this time, guys. We had Mr. Matt Hurley, the coach of your San Francisco 49 Tails last season, and now we will be introducing his brother Dan, the coach of the Anaheim Agrons. Kind of some up and coming players in just this community, and really just trying to delve into this format and Pokemon in general, and just kind of learn the game a little bit better. So, what better way than to throw them straight into VGC 20 doubles, draft league, and it worked out good. It worked out good. We shuffled the order. Matt Hurley gets number 1 pick, and Dan Hurley, his brother, gets number 2 pick. It worked out good. We had this draft order in particular. It was Matt Hurley, Dan Hurley, then Hunter, Nathan, Dean, Thomas, Trey, Mark, yours truly, Elite Four Wheel, and then Russell. And then, of course, as we mentioned, it made its reverse travel all the way back up. So these picks, had to be kind of strategically worked in. We got full rosters now, man. We went through this process. We got her all lined out yesterday. We know what our starting teams are going to look like for this season 10 of the UPC.
We got some doozies of some teams a little bit
I really
further.
think so.
And there's a lot of good doubles viable Pokemon, and it's just going to be interesting to see how they're paired up this season.
Absolutely. Yeah. Gonna be some neat stuff, man. I'm really looking forward to it. Uh, we can just go ahead and straight up dive into it, man. Like I said, Mr. Coach Matt of your San Francisco 49 Hills had the first pick overall. And Dean, tell us about that first pick, the
Yeah,
honorary first selection of the 2020 UPC Season 10 draft.
yeah. The number one overall draft for this season was Hatterene, and it's no question as to why it was pretty much the first pick gone out of all the good ones that are here.
It was the MVP in the season finale for season 9, and that was just in singles format. Hatterene does not thrive in singles nearly as well as it does in doubles, and this is where it's going to take off. That was an excellent choice for the first pick overall. Knew it was high priority. Really glad Matt got that because I think he's going to put it to good use.
Yeah, and I mean, probably one of the best, if not the best, Trick Room setter. But
I
I
would agree with
mean,
that. Yeah. I mean,
but
there's not a whole lot that hits Hatterene very hard
mm,
where that it cannot take the hits. I mean, that's a great setter. Um, you guys can see what the second pick was for Matt's team.
yeah,
Of course, this is at the end of round 2. This is his overall selection, and I don't see how it lasted this long. This is great. Come on.
yeah, I'm surprised he didn't go first round.
I am too, especially with the way the meta's been working lately. And you were talking about great trick room setters. Here comes his second pick, which was the last pick of round 2, and that's Mr. Dusclops. That thing is thick.
It's what base 130 in both defenses.
Sir, I mean, the HP stat is a little bit lacking, but you just maximize that EV spread into HP and then pick a nature, invest accordingly, and pop that EV light on there. He's almost unkillable.
Between that and if they only have single targeting moves, you just ally switch your other
He's
thing
the
if you
king
want
of
to set it up.
tomfoolery. See, that's not even a move in singles. Ally switch. Why would you do that? No, but doubles? Oh my goodness, you better watch out. You have to make sure you're making the right choice because Dusclops will make a fool out of you. And then, like I said, you can't target him down. You have to have the edge on a Pokemon like Dusclops, especially if it's accompanied with something like Hatterene. It's a very good Trick Room core just in the first 2 Pokemon.
Yeah, and then third round wasn't much different. I mean, you got your first main attacker under Trick Room in Copperaja, and he's
Copperaja does not have access to that Gmax form yet, but oh my goodness, you're right. I mean, look at the abilities for that thing.
Sheer Force Life Orb. There you go.
That's it. Or running heavy metal heavy slam.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? That steel stab. There's a large attack stat for Copperaja. I think it's going to really come in handy. And then his move pool is excellent. So
Mm-hmm.
you set that Pokemon up in Trick Room, you let him eat. I mean, Tantor going to wreck. It's a stampede for everyone. Earth is one of my personal favorite Pokemon from this generation. I particularly love the low key form of Toxtricity. This guy, he's one bad dude. I mean, he's in too deep. He don't care. It's the poison electric screaming rocker, and he's gonna get out there and let his music vibe your soul. All right, the overdrive, boom burst, sludge wave if you wanted to run that. I mean, there's some very very good
Yeah.
moves that
I
this guy
mean,
gets access to.
you Sledge Wave with Copperaja on your other side of the field. I mean, that's just
Nothing.
free damage.
It's free damage. And Toxtricity's got that base speed stats where he could go either way. He could work
Mm-hmm.
fast room. He could work trick room. I mean, you pull some misdirections or you put a heavy hitter out there with him. This Pokemon can really put out the damage. He is an excellent dude. I know Gmax Toxtricity has just been released. That's available for both low key and the amped forms. So we may see some Gmax Toxtricity coming through here even early on in the season. That Gmax Stun Shock is such a fantastic status move with the 100% chance to either give a poison or a paralyzed
Paralysis.
status to every Pokemon on the field. And that's just, oh my goodness.
That
That's exactly what
paralysis.
somebody needs.
Yeah, that paralysis is crippling in a lot of situations.
Better believe it because that's one of the only things that can really stop some Gmax Pokemon. I mean, that's intimidating. Um, a very excellent pick, and that's another one that kind of surprises you that it made it to the end of round 4
Yeah.
before it was it just will be a testament standing to what all was chosen in those first round picks for every team here. The supporting role Pokemon or maybe the damage hitters. I think, particularly in this draft, if I can just go ahead and spoil the trend for this draft, was I think everybody was choosing mainly facility Pokemon first. That is something that the Galar region is in short supply of is support Pokemon. You have to have enough misdirection or facilitating Pokemon to make sure that all the heavy hitters that are in Galar can do their job.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's why Toxtricity went fourth round.
And like you're saying, going on the support. I mean, next pick. I mean, 5th round pick for Umbreon. Umbreon's been a pretty decent mon in past double seasons, and I mean, we even saw it last year at Worlds. Go to
It was
the
in the World Championship
yeah.
round. Yes, sir.
I
Yes,
mean,
sir. Umbreon is a top tier as far as support.
got Snarl. I think didn't the whole Evolution family have access to Mystical Fire now?
I believe so. And of course, there's always the helping hand Umbreon
Yeah.
set. That inner focus means that he doesn't mind with things like fake out, which are so prevalent in doubles. It's not a problem with singles Pokemon, but Umbreon can do a great job to help support the Pokemon in the driver's seat for Umbreon. He's always a co-pilot, but he definitely will support whoever is coming in first. Following him is the gallant knight of the Galar region, Mr. Surfetched himself. He is not a water poison type, Dean. I'm not going to hit on you too hard because you put in so much data onto this website page. Mr. Surfetched is a fighting type strictly. He does have those steadfast and scrappy abilities, but it's not really even his abilities that make him great. Scrappy is fantastic for a fighting type or normal type Pokemon. But how about his item?
You
What is the best feature of Surfetched?
give him a stick and let him whap.
Gonna whack him. I mean that quacker is gonna whack her. He's gonna take that thing and stick him. It's massive amounts of critical hits. He gets access to move like Leaf Blade, which is a guaranteed critical hit when he's holding the big leak. It's incredible. I mean, the massive attack stat for Surfetched, backed up by these kinds of just excellent moves. It's kind of reminiscent of Marowak
Mm-hmm.
last generation with the Bone Club. It's not really the Bone Club. It's the Thick Bone.
Yeah.
Thick Bone. That's right. It changes how hard it hits altogether, and that's what Surfetched is doing right now. And his move pool's great. There's so many things he can do.
One of the few things
I
that
think
held on
that's
to
going to be
knockoff.
yeah, and in a format with like VGC where speed isn't necessarily king, and on a team like this that probably is predominantly going to be running in Trick Room, you have to have something for Surfetched because it's not going to give you a second chance to take it out.
Mm-mm.
See another support pick for pick number 7 on Hurley's team here on Matt's team. I forget we have 2 Hurleys now. The brother duos are going to be fierce. I have a feeling. Let's just throw that out there. You got Clefable is coming in with that unaware ability has been released back into the Galar region with Pokemon Home being reintroduced or introduced in general. So we have that hidden ability Clefable running around now. Uh, Follow me unaware in a rain of Dynamax moves that alter stats.
Mm-hmm.
This is good.
Yeah. In a game of
It's
boosts,
really good.
he's just become a big tank now that Unaware's back.
Yeah, doesn't care, and it'll allow for other Pokemon to take the spotlight. Clefable does not mind that it doesn't dish out hits a lot. Listen, you can totally build a modest Magic Guard Life Orb Dynamax Clefable. That would be heat.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we need to see because oh my goodness, you know and I know what kind of power that can put out. But it's mainly there for support. It's going to do a lot to make sure that the offensive Pokemon on this team do what they came to do.
Yeah. And kind of, man, the next one beside it, he can kind of go either way. Rotom Heat can be a good bulky
Absolutely.
support, or he can be a decent specs attacker.
I'm not mistaken, Rotom Heat was on the championship team for the Oceania internationals, and he played a major role in it. Very thick Pokemon, access to move like Ally Switch, and some very hard hitting, both electric and fire type moves. In Overheat and Thunderbolt. He's a good dude. He gets access to Shadow Ball. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at. Dark
Mm-mm.
Pulse is huge. Okay, I mean, as Dynamax moves, oh,
Yeah, 'cause what
Rotom's going to put in the work.
Max Darkness lowers what special defense?
Special defense, which just does Rotom favors. It does Rotom favors. It would do Toxtricity favors. It's going to help Cursula a little later down the road, or Hatterene. He's just a team player. Rotom Microwave,
Keep
the
it,
homie,
keep
Rotom
it,
homie.
keeping them toasty.
Believe it, them oven mitts coming at you. Before we fanboy over the Rotom Heat too much, let's move to Gyarados, number 9. That Pokemon made it almost to the end of the draft, completely unpicked.
Yeah.
Gyarados is huge. It's huge in singles. It's huge as a Dynamax pick for doubles. You guys, you're just going to have to wait because I know you're probably thinking, this is the first team. How did Gyarados go that far? No. Like, Gyarados was on the back burner. There's so many other things that are at play for this draft between these 10 teams. That's just how quality this is and how high caliber of picks these Pokemon were. Gyarados got picked 9th, 9th round. So I don't know, Dean. Is this a world where the more multi-dimensional Pokemon flourish and Pokemon that are just offensively overpowering, like Gyarados, to do one particular thing, do not? Is that the problem we see here? Is that why Gyarados went last, almost?
And that's a very, very good possibility. I mean, with a lot of abilities being updated to where they now ignore Intimidate. I mean, Intimidate doesn't play as big a factor as it did in previous generations. I mean, it's still a good thing to bring, but it doesn't play as big a role in some teams.
Moxie definitely flourishes, but you're totally right. Intimidate is not as valuable as it used to be with everything getting buffs. Moxie coming in is going to be good for Gyarados.
Mm-hmm.
Gyarados is also majorly benefited by Dynamax, giving him that extra HP in a Dynamax state really has allowed him just to continue to steamroll over Pokemon with that huge attack stat, good stat moves such as Bounce and Waterfall.
Mm-hmm.
This is something, I don't know, I feel like it's a little more subliminally meta for Gyarados, is he laughs in the face of the game designers when they say no more hidden power electric. He's like, all right, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm totally fine with that because Gyarados has done nothing better than avoid the niche electric type moves. Done so well. He's an old tried and true. He's a Kanto Mon, man.
Yeah.
He's been around a long time and he's always done the same stuff. And there's just nothing you can do to replace Gyarados.
No, he's just
That's
one of
why I
those.
think
He's just one of those that does his job so well. He just persists in the meta.
absolutely, yeah. He's been around for 25 years now. And then you see something that is an old soul.
Are you proud of that?
I'm super Cursula. All right. Cursula is the final choice. Corsola is a Gen 2 Pokemon, but it finally got that long awaited evolution. Cursula, the Ghost Titan, is here. It has no shell because this thing hits so hard and loves Trick Room teams. It's right at home here. This is a great pick for this final choice on this team. What you think, Dean?
Perish Body is a very scary ability that has come out this generation. I mean, just the chance of, oh, you're going to die in 3 turns. Have fun.
Game winner, late game.
Yeah.
Catching that first body on a 30% chance from contact. It's not just from contact either, right? It's any kind of damage.
It's just any move, yeah.
Yeah. It's the Parish body, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Parish body. I forget that. Listen, I'm used to the old stuff. Like I said, Curse been around a long time, but uh, Parish body. That's going to be the thing. I don't know. I like Hurley's team overall. Matt's going to have a good season this season out of this if he can be successful in setting up that trick room because everything else just kind of falls into place as you can see from the rest of it.
Yeah.
Well, that's our first team out of the way. Hopping right on into number two without any kind of delay is going to be our San Juan Snobs. Coach Russell, who has rebranded the team to support his favorite Gen 8 Pokemon, Snom. We'll get you one of them shinies someday, buddy. Uh, we're gonna
Let's just
we're
say,
gonna roll out with your roster here.
let's say, can we get an F in the comments for Russell because
Somebody get an F.
he's just tried so hard to get a shiny Snom and it's just kept eluding him.
It's the only thing he wants. Like, life, love, happiness, success. No, it comes second to Snom. That's what he wants. That's what he wants. And I don't blame him. It's adorable. It's such a great shiny. So we want to get him that. So everybody drop an F in the chat. And if you got an extra shiny Snom, make sure you hit us up in the comment section to get that to wrestle as quickly as possible. That's the San Juan Snob's got to have their mascot. But we were talking about authoritative first picks, Dean. Check out Russell.
Oh boy, that
Yes.
Duraludon.
That's a doubles extraordinaire, man. That thing is great. The Zippo lighter, he is
Despite his Gmax not being available in this format, I mean, still with Stalwart, he don't need it.
really doesn't. He takes what he wants and gives nothing back. There's some interesting sets floating around out there. Duraludon is such a versatile Pokemon. Maybe not with his move pool. He does have some cool moves like Dark Pulse and maybe Solar Beam, but and Thunder and Thunderbolt. Particularly, what I mean though is the EV spreads for this Pokemon because his intrinsic base stats are very well distributed. You can build him bulky. You can build him. You can build him. This is a great Pokemon for Generation 8. I don't see how he missed being the pseudo legendary for this generation. I mean, Dragon Ball is great, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Duraludon, that thing it's like Komalo on steroids.
Yeah.
It's great. This is such a good Pokemon. We saw last season Trey using a physical Duraludon. I think that's something that Russell should definitely keep in mind. Um, he's a good boy. I think the lighter is going to light it up this season. Support from Pokemon like Bronzong, the second pick there, which Dean, you're the expert on Bronzong. Please take over and tell us a little bit about it because I won't do it justice like you.
I mean, there's just so many kind of fun builds that you can get away with doing on him. I mean, you can always keep your opponent guessing with, is it Levitate? Is it Heat Proof? Until it's too late. I mean, I run in the actual VGC ladder, I run a Heat Proof Bronzong because everyone expects Levitate.
Yeah, and in this draft league, even with guys that are seeing your team week in and week out, there's no way to have any kind of definitive idea on what that ability actually is. And the time you find out, maybe too late into that particular round for you to be able to recover. And who knows, you'll even see it next game.
Yeah.
Bronzong's a mess.
And on
Great
top
trick
of
room setter.
yeah,
Yeah.
like you said, like not just setting up Trick Room, but within prison, he can pretty much stop Trick Room from ever going off.
He gets access to moves like Gyro Ball for massive damage. Speed Swap, okay, that's a good one. How about Hypnosis for just putting in so much work? Bronzong is the excellent, top tier, um, just bulky support Pokemon. I think right behind Dusclops. I think if there is one that's just been underrated so far in VGC 2020, it's Bronzong.
Mm-hmm.
He's the man.
And kind of looking into the next one here with Conk. Conk going round 3. I mean, we've seen him on a lot of actual VGC teams doing some massive work.
That Flame Orb Guts boosted Conkeldurr in a Dynamax state is ridiculous. Is he harder to plan for in Draft League? Arguably, yes. Are people more targeted to fight it? Yes. If you get caught off guard by Conkeldurr, He's going to wreck you. He's going
Mm-hmm.
to wreck the whole team. And he has no bad abilities. Guts, sheer force, iron fist. It's amazing. That guy does it. He does all the work. He gets priority moves. He doesn't take care about status. Um, yeah, he's a terribly scary clown.
Yeah. And you run into another situation, kind of like how you had with Machamp last season, with you still ran Guts on it, but didn't run the Flame Orb. People think, oh, there's
Uh,
no Flame Orb, no Guts. Then you go to do the status to him. You fell right into where you wanted you to be.
Activated my trap card. Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah, he's a tough man, very tough man, especially when you got ally switch on your team with Bronzong, man. Maybe you could swap right into that and catch the burn.
Mm-hmm.
That would be neat. Um, Not trying to dwell on it too much. We don't want to reveal its sets because Conkeldurr is just
Yeah.
ridiculous all the way around, no matter how you build him. That's a great choice. I'm surprised it lasted to round 3. The next one is interesting. I did not think this Pokemon, even with the Gmax capability being legal right now, would have been chosen this early on. This is crazy to me. So Russell's team, no offense to him, just the way that the draft fell out does not make sense. These things were chosen almost in reverse order of what I think would have happened in a lot of other situations. Um, but Orbeetle being his fourth choice overall. What do you think about that?
And he's a good utility mon. He's fairly bulky, fairly fast, gets both screens. I mean, he's got good abilities for doubles in Frisk and telepathy. I mean,
Drops of gravity.
yeah,
I think he also gets ally switch as well.
I'm
So and Struggle Bug.
yeah, Struggle
Let's
Bugs.
never underestimate the power of Struggle Bug in doubles. All the singles guys out there, maybe that have seen our games from last season, are thinking, "Why would you run Struggle Bug?" Well, it's because Struggle Bug hits both targets and is guaranteed to drop special attack by one stage every time. Pretty dope.
Yeah,
Pretty dope.
yeah,
Yeah, Orbeetle is not just a support Pokemon. This guy dishes out hits. He changes the dynamic of the game to where if you are not prepared to play around him, he gonna mess you up. I like old big brain time there. He's a good dude. Scully, you're not gonna believe this. The choice is Jellicent. We got the Water Ghost, the Floofy Doof Monopoly Man, the
yeah,
Pringles dude himself.
yeah, and he's kind of an interesting one for doubles. He's always seemed more like a singles mon to me.
Okay. If Jellicent were a Pringles, what flavor would you think he'd be?
Cool Ranch,
Totally going with blue raspberry.
and we're
Jellicent is ridiculous. He is so thick, and if you build him right, he can take both physical hits and special hits. Set Trick Room. He gets access to Water Spout. I've not seen Dynamax Jellicent, but I wanna. So Russ, keep that in mind. Bring us the big Pringles dude.
pop the top, give us the Pringles.
Man, blue raspberry all the way. That's the most natural flavor there is. I mean, I don't eat raspberries unless they blue. Number 6 is Snorlax, the big loaf. There are large Pokemon on this team. You got big muscles and Conk, the big Taco Baco Bell and Bronzong, the big Lighter, the big Brains and Orbeetle, the big Pringles. Now you got just
You
just
got
large,
you
just
got you
grande
got the you
size.
got the original biggin.
Yeah, listen, we'll get out on the interstate and 4 lanes of traffic will be blocked off, and I'll be like, my God, it's Generation 1 all over again. Get that Laxa out the way.
And with his Gmax being available, I mean berries all around.
Try to eat up. I wish Aegislash was here so the sword could eat, but that's fine. We have Berserker next, and we'll get to him in a minute. Gmax Snorlax with the gluttony ability, or even, we were talking for just a bit. Russell's got a very, you know, fire weak team. You run thick fat on Snorlax, and he ain't worried about it.
Mm-mm.
He don't care. He's just gonna eat that and roll over, eat some more Pringles, and go on back to bed. That guy gets it done. It's some great moves. Have you seen Darkness Lariat Snorlax yet, because that will change your life.
Yeah, I've seen the animation, and I just can't get over it.
I wonder if that's like seeing God. You know, it just you spin my head right round, and then wham, 800 pounds of blub coming at you. Lex is the man. He is the man. Um, Entirely one-dimensional, but he does it so well,
Mm-hmm.
and that's fine. Snorlax is a staple. We were talking about Gyarados being a competitive meta Pokemon since the beginning. Snorlax has been right there. What do you do to it? Um, we've seen Duraludon. We've seen Bronzong. Started out as kind of a meme idea, and then everyone got scared because Berserker is a barbarian.
Yeah, and he's
Yes.
not afraid to show. He's that steely spirit is scary.
Yes. Yes. You were the Bronzong expert. You are also the Berserker expert. Okay. Um, ran some very intricate sets with him in singles last season, and I thought it was so well done. And I know the wheels are turning, even though he's not on your roster for this season, Dean. What can be done with Berserker to make the rest of this team even better? Besides him literally just standing there menacingly. That's all he has to do. But he gets access to Fake Out.
Yeah.
All the elemental punches, I'm pretty sure, right? Or maybe just the fangs. I don't know.
Not sure right off the top of my head on that.
What he does besides stand there is good.
Yeah.
But if he just stands there with Pokemon like Didon and Durant are also there, I mean, Snorlax can drop a heavy slam and get boosted from Steely Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
That's sick. That's sick.
Imagine the bullet punch. Because does Conk get bullet punch?
I don't believe so.
Okay, because that would have been even scarier. Think about that Iron Fist bullet punch beside a Steely Spirit and Berserker.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, let's say turn one, you drop a Trick Room with Bronzong, right? It's Min Speed Bronzong, and you got something fast out on the field. And you're like, all right, Gyro Ball would do like 80% damage to whatever the target is. But then you're like, wait a minute. And you swap Berserker into the passenger seat and drop that Gyro Ball with the Bronzong anyways, which is a dynamic in VGC 2020, by the way, guys. In case you weren't wondering, that's how this works. You hit that Euro Ball, and it goes from being an 80% damage to an OHKO. You just eliminated a Pokemon with Euro Ball from Bronzong. What? Berserker putting in the worker. It's going to be time. Grant is not okay.
No. Especially not with gravity.
Oh, you can play the where's the Dynamax Mansley, because we've had to do that before in double seasons past of where's the Mega Mansley? Well, we have no Megas anymore. Where's the Z-Move Mansley? Well, we ain't got those anymore either. But what is even more terrifying than either of those two scenarios in past seasons, where's the Dynamax? Because you got Gmax Orbeetle dropping gravity and Hustle Durant on the field. Uh-oh. Or you have Dynamax Tussle Durant, which can't miss for 3 turns, hitting with huge moves, great coverage. One of those is all right. I don't like seeing that when I have to play up against him. If that's on the starting 6, you have to change my pants. Bad kind, not the good kind. And his screech is bad too. When he quacks when he Dynamax, I don't like it.
Wait, he quacks when he Dynamaxes?
Quacks. All of them quack when they Dynamax.
I mean, except for Gastrodon. Gastrodon just makes a more disturbing sucking noise.
Yeah, it's like when you stick your fingers in a bottle of noise putty, like the fart putty, and you're like.
Yep, that's it.
That's this. Yeah. I wish Ludicola's was better. That kind of upsets me. Of all the development they put into Generation 8, why did they make Ludicola's scream just like the movie? Maybe next year. Durant's great. We won't have to beat that one to death. I think everybody would have see the power of the ant. Flareon is a sleeper. Tell him why, Dean. This is your favorite Pokemon. Well, maybe second. Tell me again.
No,
Tell me
he,
again.
he's my favorite.
Thought so. Tell us about him.
I mean, I made the point at the draft when Russell was trying to figure out a Flash Fire Pokemon. I said, remember, a Flareon killed through 3 turns of Perish Song to win the game. And I mean, other than that, he's just. I mean, he's got decent bulk. He's not the fastest boy in the world, but
Doesn't have to be. You
no,
know, we got a Bronzong Trick Room team in some cases. So Flareon, he's got what he wants to do. And he's pretty bulky, isn't he? You know that the evolution spread shifted in favor of him getting, decent defense, right?
see, he's 130 attack,
Right.
110 special defense,
That's pretty good.
90 in special attack, I believe, and then
Okay.
60 and 65 in the other stats.
What does that leave for HP? 80?
I think no, I think he's 65 in HP. Like his HP
Okay.
is not the best. Like they all have one that's 130, one that's 110, one that's 90, and then I want to think the other 3 are all 60, or
Oh,
there's
just
two
60.
65s and 160.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, in Dynamax culture, which we live in, is Flareon hitting the D-Max button and getting twice its HP, which makes those defenses not so bad anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good, and then they become legitimately good.
He gets a decent variety of moves, but not anything crazy.
You got to think too. I don't know if Flareon gets crunch, but I
He
know he gets
doesn't.
bite,
He
and that's
doesn't
a
get crunch.
he does not. He gets bite. He
Yeah.
gets max strike, right? You can run those.
Yeah.
You
He
could run a
gets
Flare Blitz last resort set. That'd be
yeah.
cool.
He gets Iron Tail, so you could run Max Steel Spike.
That's dope. That's dope. Dig still, right?
Yeah.
That's max quack.
Yeah. On top of
You got
his
guts boosted max quacky. I mean, that's neat.
yeah.
Some cool stuff. I want to see some things come out of Flareon. I think that's just a really, really cool. I know you're biased. I know you're your favorite, but that's another Gen 1 Pokemon that's kind of always been competitively impressive. You get some cool stuff, man. I think if you run Special Flareon, you get access to more moves like Shadow Ball,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or maybe Volt Switch. No, not Volt Switch. Shockwave, I think, was one of them there for a while, which may not be a move anymore.
I don't think it's
But
a
there's
move
there's some
anymore.
neat. That's fine. That's fine. I miss my Espeon Zap Cannon days, but yeah. Speaking of memes, let's get straight to the biggest meme Pokemon has ever produced.
And
Dracovish.
I mean, he looks just so happy to be here in this picture.
Stop lying. He wants someone to put him out of his pain.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Head's upside down.
And he's missing.
Think.
On this one it's okay. On the other one, it's upside down.
If you squint your eyes and turn your head 90 degrees to the right, he kind of looks like a taco. Maybe a fish taco? I'll wrap this up. I'm getting hungry. I mean, Dracovish does what Dracovish does. Strong jaw, vicious rend. You choice scarf him, you choice band him, you life orb him, which is the spicy shit. But just Mr. Fish. Yeah. Mr. Fish does a nice job. It's a good pick. That's one that's kind of surprising. That was one of the last few selected.
Yeah.
Mr. Irrelevant almost, or maybe it was. I think that was the last one chosen. That was the last Pokemon.
Yeah,
So
that'd
that's
have been the
incredible
last
for
one.
something has kind of changed the way that singles meta has worked with just really fast, really hard hitting, priority almost moves with Vicious Ren and Strong Jaw. That's wild that in doubles the dynamic is flipped. He was the last one selected for this draft. And maybe that was a mistake. Maybe he should have went earlier.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
I mean, I think one of the other fossils went a little early on, didn't it?
Dracozolt was also selected. We did not have Arctozolt or Arctovish, but neither one of those are really relevant in doubles yet. I think they still have a little bit of finding their way first. Maybe before the end of the season, we'll see them picked up. Um, but overall, I feel pretty good about that one adding to the composition for Russell's team. This is a very offensive team. This is a very physically attacking team. It can play nice with Trick Room. It can play, in a normal setting. If somebody wants to outspeed it, it doesn't take a whole lot, but you really have to have some hitting power and stopping power to be able to, one, dish out hits to this team, two, take them and keep playing. It's going to take some calculated maneuvers to get around Russell's squad.
Yeah.
What's up? We got Mark.
Yep, we got Mark next.
Yes, sir. It's an oldie. It's a goodie. This is only team number 3 in our coverage, but we'll whip through this because I feel like Mark's team it's just good. There's so many Pokemon that have just great things to do, and you don't really have to elaborate on what they do. It's just that they're tried and true, all reliable.
Mm-hmm.
Grimmsnarl, I say that, and then Grimmsnarl is extremely multifaceted, especially since Gmax Grimmsnarl is allowed. That was an excellent choice for one of the first few selected overall in that first round. Prankster's great. Okay, getting Frisk in doubles is also good. We just haven't seen that much in the general meta. Gmax Grimmsnarl with the Max Snooze is also just delicious. That thing's going to be excellent. What a great first choice.
Pair it up with Hitmontop beside it. I mean, we were kind of undercutting Intimidate earlier, but still yet, I mean, you catch somebody off guard with it.
Well, just imagine, Grimmsnarl doing what it does and dropping screens, right? And then you got Hitmontop to drop an Intimidate on top of it. That's rough, buddy.
Yeah.
Rough. You went from, take Russell's team, for example, the massive power of Guts Conk to, Timber. I mean, he got devolved in one turn. That's rough.
Yeah. Hitmontop gets fake out support too.
Well, even remove fake out from it, just the Intimidate proc and maybe a Prankster screen of one or the other. And it's one turn, and you've already neutralized all the physical attackers on the other end of the field. That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Really good. I know we were talking about Intimidate getting nerfed a little bit, but Hitmontop, I wasn't trying to interrupt you. Go ahead. It's a great mod. Why is that?
I mean, he's just got good coverage. I mean, he can be used in a variety of different ways. You can build him with his EV spreads and make him bulky, and what is it? Salt Vest Hitmontop, wasn't it a pretty decent build a couple seasons ago?
He's got a good special defense stat, anyways. Now, like I said, you put him behind a couple of barriers, and then a pseudo defense raise and Intimidate, right? That's basically what that is. If you're lowering attack, then you're raising your ability to take hits, which is effectively your defense. So, excellent job for Hitmontop just to be kind of a nuisance, really, with fake out and priority moves, with sucker punch and hit punch, bullet punch. I mean, the man's a problem. Rapid spin, even though you don't see as many field hazards in doubles, getting that speed raise for Hitmontop is going to put him in a speed bracket that you don't want to mess with him. At level 50 with the VGC 2020 format, when you're playing at level 50 versus playing at level 100 like we were in our singles league, there's a lot smaller of a margin for fast Pokemon to outspeed slow Pokemon. So a boosting move like Rapid Spin changes speed tiers entirely to where maybe you could outspeed things better at level 50 than you could at level 100. On top has one of those speed tiers where I guess he could probably do that with Rapid Spin. It's one of those, and maybe not outspeed the Pokemon like in the next 2 slots for Mark's team, but possibly outspeed Charizard or just other floating around 100 base stat speed Pokemon. That's a cool set, I think. Ignition for boosting all those priority moves. The Bullet Punch, the Mach Punch, the Fake Out. That's also not bad.
Mhm.
If you're afraid of Defiant or competitive Pokemon, which Mark has almost completely sequestered, which is excellent. Yeah, I like it. Those first two, fantastic facility picks that can also deal damage.
They're they're going to be good support for a lot of the harder hitters on Mark's team. I mean, next we see Dragapult come up, and I mean he's a hard hitter, but he's a little on the more fragile side. I mean, he's not a glass cannon, but he's still not going to take a lot of hits that well.
All of the teams that we've seen to make the first couple picks for facility mons and then pick a attacking mon for the third or fourth pick on that, I guess, bubble slot. Um, this one is probably the best put together so far. You got to think. You just said it. Dragapult's frail. Well, you got two other dudes there to really make sure that he's not so scared, especially if he was to hit the big button and then start dealing damage.
Mm-hmm.
Dragapult to eat, man. He's a menace. This is one of the coolest Pokemon to ever be produced, and its stats are ridiculous. Um, Judo, especially to be that fast and hit that hard, both special attack and attack, with Dynamax backing him up, Dragon Ball has little to be afraid of in this particular league and in the meta overall. It's a good. It's really good. Agnostic Male is another great facilitator. I really like how Mark has decided to pick up a lot of these Prankstermons. He's the only guy that has two Prankstermons on his team. Um, and that's why he chose the Meowstic Male over the Meowstic Female. Meowstic Female is also great because it gets competitive, and in a doubles format, you see that more often. But he's had access to it in seasons past, and I think it's worked out pretty well for him. But Meowstic Male this season is with Pokemon Home reintroducing its hidden ability in Prankster. He's gonna be really good. He can do a lot of the same things maybe as Grimmsnarl, but also he's nothing to sneeze at. He can do some serious damage and be faster than most of the Pokemon in this doubles meta.
Yeah. I mean, he's got what, 100, right around 100 base speed.
104.
Yeah. So I mean, even outside of Prankster, he's going to outspeed a lot of the things in the kind of slower meta right now.
And if you want to make Grimmsnarl a certain support build, then Meowstic can fill in the gaps for the other, and you can bring both on the team of 6 for the same week. Change your playstyle up completely just within rounds. I think that's an excellent pick. I felt a little sniped. I was like, oh man, I want the Meowstic, but there was just no room on my team, and Mark, it fits beautifully. So it worked out, I think, in a way.
Yeah.
I like him picking this Pokemon in particular. You got 2 Infiltrator Mons. How neat is that?
Oh no.
That's not a very popular thing, is it? I'm just now noticing that both of those get access to Infiltrator. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Forget your substitutes.
I mean, more than that, I mean, they pretty much ignore screens too.
It ignores screens, ignores substitutes. Yeah, yeah. Uh, how about Charizard? Probably the most widely selected Gmax Pokemon since the Dallas Regionals, with good reason. It won, and the chip damage that the Gmax Wildfire move does is great. But just think about having Charizard in Draft League. You can have Solar Power, you can have Dynamax, you can have Gmax, you can just have support. I think he gets access to Tailwind if you don't want to run the Airstream sets. This guy's neat, man.
Yeah.
Old-fashioned Charizard coming in big in Generation 8.
I mean, if you get the sun set up right, I mean, you bring Solar Beam, or you just max Overgrowth. I mean, he's got a lot of coverage for his weaknesses.
Yep, and it hits like a truck. I mean, his Solar Power is basically a free life orb. Just stack damage up with that Charizard, and he gets spread moves. He gets Air Cutter and Heat Wave. Those are both cool. So you can build Charizard multiple ways, and never, ever, ever forget that physical Charizard is a threat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Mega Charizard X was just a generation ago, guys. Do not disrespect. Um, Charizard's physical build is always there. But next we have Corviknight, which is it's just a good Pokemon. You don't want to run the pressure necessarily in doubles because of stall, unless that's something you're just faced with. We've seen stall double teams. We've seen teams try to go to timer. It's not okay, but that's just a legitimate play style in some scenes. And you might have to have pressure, but a nerve for stopping those pinch berries, that could be good.
Mm-hmm.
Mirror armor for reflecting off any kind of stat boost from Dynamax moves or intimidates. That's great. Corviknight's excellent. He has a Gmax form that has not been widely used, but could definitely be um, usable against teams that set up screens. Um, I think that'd be pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, when or if terrains ever decide to be a bigger deal than they are with stuff, I mean, does it? I'm pretty sure his Gmax move gets rid of terrain, also, doesn't it?
That's a great question. I don't know for sure, but I'm going to trust you on that, Dean. You know your stuff. Corviknight's a excellent choice. I want to see him do better in doubles because if you don't plan for Corv, you're going to have a hard time.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have something to take him out and take him out quickly because he'll get away from you with Roost and Bulk Up just sitting there staring at you, not afraid of you. Then Corviknight can easily turn the tables. Melodic is also equally as thick, if not thicker. That water typing has been really, really good in a um, dominantly physical meta, but
Mm-hmm.
also non-grass, non-electric type meta.
Yeah.
Uh, we're seeing a lot of rock types. We're seeing a lot of fire types. We're seeing a lot of fighting types and a lot of fairy types. That said, Melodic doesn't care about any of those.
Nope.
Defense is up there. There's some really cool sets out there with boosting stats. Competitive is great. Marvel is also just as good if you want to run that Claymore defense boosting set.
I mean, with the
But
with the prevalence of the Dynamax moves that lower stats, competitive makes you kind of
yeah,
second guess what you're going to do on those turns.
not a prevalent set for Melodic to run this, but it's a Generation 8 move that it now gets access to, and I think it's awesome that it does because maybe there is a place for this in doubles. Is Life Do? I mean, Melodic could be running the Life Do and support some bulky Pokemon, things that need just maybe a touch more HP so they can live the next hit coming from the other end,
Mm-hmm.
and then dish one out to win the game. That could be Melodic's niche in doubles. It's good, it's really good. I want to see big Melodic just like I want to see big Jellicent. Maybe there's a place for that somewhere with like a Max Hailstorm Melodic or something along those lines with Dragon Pulse because I think it still gets access to some Dragon moves to drop attack. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Um, Melodic setting up for itself is a predominant thing. I think I see a excellent season for Melodic this time around.
Then we have the counter priority mon with Serena.
It's pseudo psychic surge, isn't it?
Yep.
It's even better because a lot of people are running into psychic surge and then having flying type or levitate Pokemon. Serena doesn't care. It just stops it. Anything coming onto its side of the field is done. We also saw that with Dazzling and Bruxish last generation, but Bruxish did not make it to the Galar region. But we have Serena, and old legs can totally stop that easily. And Leaf Guard with Sun up, Serena cannot be burned, poisoned, paralyzed. That's cool. Sweet Veil, nothing can be put to sleep on its side of the field. It's a great doubles Pokemon.
Yeah.
Hands down. Move pool's good. Dynamax move pool's good. Abilities are good. Bulk is good. Attack stats good. Speed is decent. With 70, that's better than most doubles Pokemon. Right in the middle.
I mean, that's one max airstream boost from being outspeeding a lot of slower things in that speed tier.
How many grass types were drafted before this one, Dean?
I would say maybe one.
Not many. Not many. I'm flipping through here and I've only found, let's see, one, two, three. Oh boy. Four. There's only 5 grass type Pokemon in this entire meta, in this entire draft league, and one of them belongs to Mark. So that's pretty good. I think everybody should have one, and that's probably the most offensive one is Serena. That's a good choice. His last 2 choices, one of them is hands down one of the best doubles Pokemon in this meta. It's been completely revitalized in Generation 8 versus Generation 7 due to Dynamax and its abilities, the longevity, and then the other one, Aromatisse, who I'll be honest with you, I didn't even remember Aromatisse was in this generation for a while. I mean, maybe
No.
this is a meme pick. Mark usually works a meme pick in there sometimes. Maybe Aromatisse is legit. I want to see what happens with it because it could be bad.
Yeah.
Uh, it could be real bad. Aroma Veil and Healer is its abilities. I know it gets a lot of great support moves. I think it gets access to Heal Pulse and Sweet Kiss. There's some problematic stuff from Aromatisse. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Mudsdale's a problem.
Mm-hmm. He's a big problem.
Look at that dude. Old dreads.
I ran into some really dumb Mudsteel sets earlier today. On the ladder. It was a Stamina Mudsteel paired beside a Rock Blast Skill Link Cinccino.
That's bad. That's bad. I saw one with a Bullet Seed one time, and it was weakness policy stamina.
Oh.
Yeah, it was cool. It was really cool.
You know what made the team that I fought with the Mudsteel even worse?
No idea.
There was a Psych Up Espeon with stored power.
Okay. Okay.
So they had
Psych up Espeon.
max defense, and then because of the max moves, they had 2 or 3 other boosts. Then the Espeon just coming in, sucking it up, and I mean, that's a very hurting stored power coming my way.
It is. I don't know, man. Be afraid of the horse, the Clydesdale. They bring in the Budweiser to you. He's gonna stomp his way on through. That's gonna do it for Mark's team. I really like the whole squad. I think there's a lot of just great facility Pokemon. We're moving into Hunter's team, which seems like a mediocrely damaging team, but you don't need to underestimate this. This is probably, in my opinion, second most terrifying team on the draft. No offense to Hunter, everybody will understand what the first one is because of just it's just scary. We'll see how it does. But this team in particular, I think, is the second scariest team on the list. Hunter's team rebranded as the LA Lapras. With his first pick of Lapras with the D-Max Lapras capability.
I mean, it's free real estate on that Aurora Veil. I mean, nothing can stop you.
Pretty much. If you know what you're doing, you can do it. Lapras's moves are great. You can run G-Max. You don't have to run G-Max. You put Shell Armor on there. He's not going to get crit. You can do hydration and then just click spam water moves and heal back a third of or a 16th of its health or whatever it is every time. Lapras is great. There's no question. You can run any kind of item just on that Lapras, period.
Yeah.
Next to it is going to make sure it lives. I don't like Sableye.
No,
When I see it on the other, I love it on mine. I love Yeet.
You love having it, but you hate fighting it. I mean, he gets. I mean, he is Mr. Support. I mean, he gets any kind of weather. I think other than sandstorm that you want to set and maybe hail.
Yeah, I wish he got gravity still. I wish he got screech still. If he got either one of those, old Sableye would have been on my team this season. But him pairing up with Lapras and being a second round pick, ladies and gentlemen, Yeet moving up the ladder. He is doing it. We had Lapras as a first round pick. What is going on in Generation 8? What? That Pokemon was like PU.
Yeah,
It was never, ever picked
I'm
for
sure if you
Draft
look at
League
the
before.
ladder now, it's probably sitting somewhere in UU or OU if it's not in OU.
It's ridiculous. It's gotta be. That's an incredible change for Lapras just with getting Dynamax in the Gigantamax form. Um, and then Sableye moving right up there with it. So the meta's being flipped on its head, ladies and gentlemen. We've got some things happening to where there's some upward mobility for Pokemon that didn't have it before. Um, Another we've just not seen hit around until this most recent series, of course, because it's not been available in the game, is our good friend Venusaur, who has made a chlorophyll sunny return.
Yeah, especially with the changes to how the speed works now, where you get that instant boost. I mean, you don't even have to set up Sun when he's out there. You can set it up as the turn progresses.
Just fantastic because the Dynamax moves, you hit a max flare, sun's up. Venusaur benefits from that better than anything because maybe you don't want it to be the fastest on the field. Maybe there's Trick Room. Maybe there's Trick Room about to end. That's kind of dope, right?
Yeah.
Venusaur would go first, and the max flare would hit, and then Trick Room ends, and then now Venusaur is the fastest thing on the field again. Uh, Venusaur growth sets are going to be good. There's going to be some really cool Max Ooze, which is stab for Venusaur. It gives a special attack raise for one stage to whatever is itself and whatever's beside it. Quality pick, man. Quality pick. Sleep Powder is always good. It's not as good as it has been in the past, but Sleep Powder is always good.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, just wait and see what you get with Venusaur. I feel like he's kind of up there with Gyarados. Is there's only so many ways to run Venusaur. I think I'm going to be wrong. I think there's some things you'll do differently. Like you'll see that one random special Gyarados,
Yeah.
or you'll see the Max Hail Ice Fang one. Kind of run like a Mega Gyarados from previous generations. Uh, Max Darkness, Max Rockfall on the Gyarados. Venusaur has that same capability and selected other moves, but we have yet to see them, and I anticipate it for this season with a team like Hunters. Togedemaru, I think Hunter was originally trying to go for Raichu, which was selected, but Togedemaru, I don't know. Togedemaru, in my opinion, is just as good, if not better, because he gets access to Sturdy,
Yeah.
and that's a focus sash, man. In a league where item clause is a thing by facility, Sturdy allows for Togedemaru to at least take more than one hit.
And not only that, but the spiky shield, if you can catch an
Is he
auto.
shield good?
Yeah.
Lightning Rod's good. Fake out. Nuzzle. Zing Zap has a chance to flinch. So does Iron Head. I mean, these are things you want in a fast, physical electric type, which there's not many of those.
Mm-mm.
Electric types are generally fast, but physical, no, no.
I think really last generation and maybe this generation's the only times that a fast physical electric type's been introduced.
I think Electabuzz was always just kind of misunderstood, but outside of him, yeah, I gotta agree. I gotta totally agree. Um, we're talking about fast physicals, and maybe he's not fast, but he's definitely physical. As an electric type in Dracozolt, I love the typing. We had help me out here. It's Zekrom and
Zekrom and
and
yeah.
yeah. Now we have that's the beautiful thing is before dragon type dual type like elementals with water dragon was just Palkia, right? Steel dragon was just Dialga,
Yeah.
and then electric dragon was just Zekrom. Now we have respectively, Arctivish, Duraludon, and Dracozolt to fill in the slot in the Galar region. And these commands are usable. These are great typings that are now at play in the meta. It's excellent, really good. I'm glad Dracozolt's here. I'm glad he gets a move like Bolt Beat. I'm glad you can see him do multiple things with that hustle ability working through Dynamax, kind of like the Durant earlier.
Mm-hmm.
It's a menace. It's a menace.
Yeah, I mean, and kind of going back to maybe not being the fastest thing, you're in blunder policy with that hustle. There's your speed boost.
Or I don't know. I'm crazy, but what if you ran Togedemaru and choice band Dracozolt, and you use Zing Zap into your own Volt Absorb Dracozolt
Just to keep him alive.
to keep him alive? I mean, what do you think of that? It'd be kind of spicy, right? I don't know,
Yeah.
but right, but yeah, these are really good Pokemon.
Yeah,
Sigilif is interesting though. Who thought of Sigilif?
somebody that was high on peyote in the middle of a desert.
You, Dean.
No.
Forget you're high on life and Pokemon. Oh, we got Sigilif. It's not a Dark Fairy, but it is a Psychic type Pokemon that should have gotten Fairy typing added to it when they rebranded some certain Pokemon. That's okay. Wonder Skin, I think, is an awesomely cool ability. I want more of that. I want Magic Guard to be a good thing, which it is, and
Mm-hmm.
then Tinted Lens for just great damage with Psychic type moves out of Dynamax. That's cool. That's really cool.
How likely do you think we are going to see like Psycho Shift statuses this
I was
season?
talking about that, and I want to see it, but I doubt it. I don't think that will be a thing. Maybe it will. I don't know. Maybe it will. I think Dynamax Sigilif is great because he's pretty decently fast. 97 base stat speed. He's faster than most, and he can be hitting that airstream to support his buddies and his homies. And then Psychic Brain is about priority.
Yeah.
If you got those two things, stopping priority
And speed?
and speed boosting, you're doing well. You're controlling the game pace pretty well. Yeah. So I like that. I like the Sigilif a lot. Yeah. Yeah, I think its move pool is good. I'm not going to reveal anything else because there's a lot to it that just people I think may not understand. And just like Aromatisse, I think there's more than meets the eye, and people will really appreciate it. That's all I got on him. Grandpa, though, however, is a anti-meta pick. How many teams, Dean, are running some sort of weather?
Pretty much all of them.
There we go. Yeah, that's the answer. What happens when you throw a grampy, drampy Snoop Dogg boy out there with Cloud9?
Bye bye, weather.
Exactly nothing. Nothing happens. Not a cloud in the sky. It's hard. You can run Berserk. Berserk's dope. Sap Sipper to stop from sleep powders. I don't think that's going to be a problem for Hunter's team since he has a monopoly on Venusaur. But Drampa's a hard hitting dude. He's not going to take no for an answer. He's got candy. He wants to give it out. There's Sylveon, which actually is candy. It's the waifu. Look at them eyeballs. Look at them. I'm gonna scream at you. Scream at you.
What he does.
Yeah, unless you accidentally click Cute Charm as your ability, then you've made a mistake. But Pixelate Screaming, that's all Sylveon has to do. Maybe drop a cool Mystical Fire or a Psyshock or a Shadow Ball in from time to time, but they're just gonna scream at you, man. Ain't nothing else it gotta do. He's gonna scream. Yeah. Yeah. Moving on to Runerigus, the big rock dude. He's not rock type, but he should have been. Ghost Ground and that cool Wandering Spirit. He is terrifying. Shiny Runerigus is dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, this thing is an excellent trick room setter. It's an excellent, just kind of facilitator for bad things, and he's hard to get rid of. Very thick Pokemon, great typing. A lot of things that Runerigus can do in the meta right now to stop a lot of other powerful teams.
And you look too at his ability. He gets hit by a physical move and switches out. I mean, that could be very detrimental if a like a guts Pokemon or anything else that relies on that ability to give it that little bit extra oomph just gets it taken away just because they hit it.
Critical question. If Renderigus hits a wheezing with neutralizing gas, what happens?
I would say nothing.
I don't know. I kind of want them to have babies. Moving on, we got Persian Alolan form as the final pick for Hunter's team. That is a meme choice, but it's also an excellent choice. I was not aware this was a Pokemon that was allowed in the meta right now, but since Pokemon Home has been reintroduced with a lot of these extra forms and Pokemon, here he is. This is him. This is the problem that we thought we had left in Generation 7. He followed us here.
At least you don't have Z
Eating all
parting
the
shot.
watermelon. Yeah, but he got regular parting shot, and he's still eating all the watermelons whole. We gotta see what happens out of that. That's another fake out Pokemon, man. Look at all the fake out Pokemon that are becoming viable in doubles. Oh, I don't like it. I don't like it. I just want to move on. Like I said, Hunter's team. It's terrifying, but it's the second most terrifying. Here's the first most terrifying, and I'm not going to tell anybody why. You just got to figure it out. The Dodge City Doug Trio. Coach Dean. Username CO27. Free agencies 4. Astro, Primarina, Gothitelle, Cinescorch, Leopard, Ludicolo, Rotomo, Silvally, Drift, Blim, and Gardevoir. Dean, tell us, because I'm just going to be angry. Just tell us, well, you don't have to tell us what it's going to do, but just tell us.
Like the thought process behind it?
No, just what they're doing. What are they doing? They hanging out? Are they thick? Are they offensive? What's Gastrodon? Tell me like I'm a 6-year-old.
I mean, Gastrodon sucks water. That's what he do.
He does. He is slug. And he gets big a lot too. A
Yeah.
lot of modest Gastrodon sets out there with Rindoberry. Makes him impossible to kill before he kills you first.
Yeah.
It has just been reintroduced. Liquid Voice is awesome for hyper voice sets.
Mm-hmm.
He also screams and is fairy type, just like the Sylveon. So that's something that's kind of a rarity right now, is just offensive fairy type Pokemon.
Yeah. I mean, and Sparkling Aria giving, dealing damage and healing friendlies.
It's a good move. It's kind of like Pollen Puff, which we've seen a lot more use of since it's been kind of expanded in the move pool. But Sparkling Aria is still Primarina's signature. It's a goodie. What Gothitelle, Dean?
I mean,
just be honest with us. What does Gothitelle do?
I mean, the one thing that it does best is keep things from running away.
It traps them in its Lolita arms and suffocates them. I don't like her. Her head looks like an Ionic Pro.
Yeah, it does.
It makes the crackling noises of trying to filter the air around it, saying you cannot escape. Gothitelle gets a lot of great facility moves. It also is a fake out user, which maybe most people didn't know, but fake out, fake ears, it's just fake. It's a Lolita, it's fake. She's a fake girl. I don't want to drop a Dynamax move on it either because it's competitive. Frisk is also great to try to figure out what kind of items the other Pokemon. It's just a great doubles Pokemon. I think it's just Trick Room, Psychic, Shock, Shadow Tag ability. This is Ally Switch. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Scorch with a Gmax. That's the first Gmax Pokemon and the only Gmax Pokemon on the Dan squad.
I wanted to use Danger Noodle. He's just thick.
He's thick. Nathan showed us last season how thick he truly is.
And he's got good abilities too. I mean, Flash Fire. I mean, he could get hit by a neutral fire move. Not anymore. Flame Body. Well, now you burn. And I don't see many white smokes, but You know, that could keep you from losing whatever stats to Dynamax moves.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Plus
Why
his
don't you use why don't you use Silvally to flamethrower into a Flash Fire Cinescorch and then drop the biggest Dynamax Max Flare of all time?
oh, owie.
Like Danger Noodle. Leopard for support. Leopard almost win the Collinsville Regionals.
Got a couple of good, interesting abilities to use. I mean, Prankster's always good, and he's got pretty good moves to select that Prankster works with. And he's kind
Such
of
a good thing. Leopard before it had Prankster unlocked through its hidden ability through home was basically useless, and now it's back. Now it's top tier. Great Prankstermon and a nice fifth addition to the Prankster squad. Right? We got before we just had Sableye, Grimmsnarl, and Whimsicott, and then they tacked in Meowstic and Leopard.
yeah.
Leopard's probably the most underrated out of all those, if I'm being completely honest. And I like it. Um, just common use Pokemon, but I think it's T-Wave, it's Fake Out, Sucker Punch, which is fantastic. Dark Pulse if you wanted special. Under Copycat is cool. I mean, there's just a lot of neat stuff with Leopard that a lot of people don't realize. And um, Dean, it doesn't even matter. I can sit here and list the whole thing. The Leopard is so versatile. You can put it on with any Pokemon and make it just a unique.
Yeah.
It has Streak, and it's going to be good. I see a duo and Leopard and Ludicolo that I don't like, but I'm going to let you talk about Ludicolo.
Ludicolo just benefits from weather. He just happily dances in the rain. And
He does. He does.
It's fairly decent coverage moves. He gets Icy Wind, if I'm not mistaken.
He does. And Ice Beam. The Pen Pineapple Apple Pen. He gets the Ice Beam, the Giga Drain. He might get Leaf Storm. Don't hold me to that. But then of course Hydro Pump, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Dude hits. He hits hard. Like him. Swift Swim is a menace. And you've already got a couple of water Pokemon on your team that could easily set that up. I think it's a good choice.
Yeah.
Ludicolo will hit so hard. So hard. How about Rotom Mow? You got Rotom Tractor there, the electric grass boy. We talked about how viable Rotom is just as a Pokemon in any form because of its really non-stab moves and Dynamax. You could do that and just have a field day pretty much any time with the Pokemon you already have we've mentioned on this team. But Rotom Mow in particular, I think complements your team very well. It was a threat to your team, so you snagged it, and it worked for your team, which
Yeah.
is great.
And one good thing I I kind of was thinking, because and this is something that's kind of been prevalent in the actual meta too, is the other forms of Rotom have started kind of picking up because Mold Breaker being as big of a threat as it is in doubles,
Sure.
he gets hit neutrally by Earthquake. Heck, I've seen a couple Rotom fans, which I had never seen in the meta before this generation.
What you got to do to avoid the anti-meta? You got to do something to compensate. Silvally coming in next. Silvally's always a wild card, and he hits so hard. I think the what's the multi strike? Is that the name of the move?
Multi attack. It's like a
Multi attack.
they upped it to like a
Massive
120.
Maybe Arceus, and that's awesome. Frankenstein's monster has been sewn together and now hits like he's going for townspeople. That's what Silvally's supposed to do.
Base 95 across the board. I mean, he's budget Mew.
95 across the board for every stat.
Yeah.
Yeah, break out the torches and pitchforks, boys. We going to town. Driftblim is excellent. I love Driftblim. I love Driftblim because Driftblim does excellent VGC things. I remember there was some very popular Driftblim VGC sets for the early Alola meta, 2017 and 2018. Driftblim was doing work. Unburdened Driftblim. Oh, bring it back, Dean. I want to see it. I want to see it so bad. Love it. This is what I want. Um, leave that where it is. Flare boost is also cool. We were talking about Wonder Skin on Sigilith. What else? We were talking about Wandering Spirit on Runerigus. There's some very awesome, unique ability. Mirror Armor on Corviknight. You know, just very cool, unique abilities. Marvel Scale on Melodic. Um, Flare boost is one of those for Driftblim.
Yeah.
That is so dope. Flame Orb does not just cater to guts anymore. Here comes Driftblim.
Last pick on my team, Gardevoir, and it was just kind of a, I don't know what I'm going to do with this spot pick, but at the same time, it's a really good special attacker and support mon. And
It's telepathy.
yeah,
You get trace. You can figure out abilities on some of the question mark Pokemon.
yeah,
Maybe not a every round pick. You know, all 3 rounds if you get to 3 rounds, or even both out of 2. But maybe one for kind of an information round. That's
yeah,
not a bad idea, right?
yeah.
Now it only traces the ability right in front of it, but still, yeah, that could be good.
Yeah, that'd help you figure out if it's a levitate or heat proof Bronzong across the
True.
way.
It's true. That's going to be a real problem for people, Dean. I'm glad you realized that and see the potential in Gardevoir, the Pokemon that gets absolutely destroyed by Bronzong. Like, oh, yep, that's heat proof. Switch it out. And then comes Sil Valley. Like the team. Any final thoughts?
No, I like the way it turned out, and I didn't really have a list going into it other than maybe the first 3 or 4 that I picked, but
Still hate it.
well, if you hate it so much, we'll just move on to Thomas's team.
Yeah. Which is next? Orlando Magic Bounce, which has been slightly rebranded. Before it was Espeon as the mascot. Who's the new mascot, Dean?
Hatterene.
Yeah, I wish he would have got it. I know he was a little bit upset because he didn't, but Hurley's going to put it to good use. Thomas knows that. It's going to be a good time. Thomas, though, made an excellent first choice. This is the Pokemon that is on how many? 70% at least?
I was
Maybe
going to
even
say,
80% of EDC teams?
yeah.
Togekiss.
It just does so much. Weakness policy, follow me.
Dynamax Airstream, Dynamax Starfall, Super Luck dual hits with D-Gleam for critical hit damage. It's hustle boosted Dynamax sets. It's not ill. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And then Excadrill being the second choice, then T-Tar being the third.
Yeah.
Why did we do this?
I don't know why we let this happen.
Hold me, Dean.
I mean, if I ever saw an OU team in the making, I mean, this is the OU team.
Wash, Hydreigon, Arcanine. Yeah, it kind of is. Excadrill T-Tar lead is fantastic. It's so good. It's so good. But that said, Excadrill does a lot of good things, even outside of Dynamax. T-Tar does a lot of good things, even outside of Dynamax. We like to see weakness policy on both of those Pokemon. I've been seeing this Really cool protect Excadrill with weakness policy set. I don't know why, but
Hmm.
that's cool. Maybe that's something he'll do. That's just a duo, right?
Yeah.
Togekiss is a one-man army. Our Dragon is a one-man army. Rotom Wash helps everything. It keeps the gameplay clean. Arcanine, uh, so multifaceted. We've only seen Intimidate as a prevalent set for VGC, but come on, can we bring back the Flash Fire Justified sets? Maybe even just Justified. But
Yeah. I was gonna say I think Justified would be a more prevalent one for doubles than Flashfire.
love my Justified Arcanine Doggo. Rotom Wash, fantastic. Um, Same thing, same old song and dance. This is the final Rotom form that we have received for this particular draft. There was Rotom Mow, Rotom Heat, and Rotom Wash. Those are the three most highly chosen forms of Rotom. Flying and regular form were not chosen. Um,
Bridge
that's
wasn't
okay.
chosen.
Oh, Fridge. I always forget Rotom Fridge, the ice type one. I did. If we would have had an ice, like a Blizzard team come up to the front, I think that would have been a great choice for Choice Scarf Blizzard.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it'd have been really cool to have a follow me, like Alolan Ninetales, Frostmoth, maybe Inteleon, or some stuff on there to make sure you get your weather up and you play in weather. You get Quiver Dance, Live on top, maybe. There's some cool stuff there, but Rotom Fridge needed to stay out this time around because that didn't develop. Again, oh my God, you want to talk about a Dynamax monster? Oh, I like Delmize. I like Delmize.
Yeah.
That signature move and anchor shot did not go away.
Oh,
It's still there,
have you seen
and
the
it's still
animation for it in this generation?
not. Is it better?
It is a lot better.
Is
And
it
if
cooler than Darkness Lariat Snorlax?
it's not hardly that cool, but it's probably number two.
I don't believe you. I think it's just as cool, but I'm gonna have to wait and see. Anyways, Delmaz is Fantasmic. That's what we want. That's what we want. Triple stab.
Yeah, that's I like that ability. I'd like to see more of it.
We were talking about unique abilities. That's one of them. I love it. I love it so much. Halacha. Halacha's ridiculous. In doubles before it was ridiculous. In singles before it was ridiculous. In singles presently it's been ridiculous. In doubles, it's harder to pull off, but
It still
I
works.
really like it. I think it still works. I think even if he's not going for KOs like he has been before, jumping off the top rung to give a people's elbow to whatever kind of Raticate is at the bottom of the ring, Halecha is still going to be doing some big things. I mean, it's got poison job for max ooze. Okay, it can support there. It can be stupid fast after it's unburdened. Um, I don't think anything can outspeed it naturally outside of Tailwind.
Mm-mm.
There's nothing that can outspeed Halecha after it's unburdened. Um, Steel Spike, Punch, Airstream, those are great supporting moves. Very, very, very good. And then Halecha, even just as a support Dynamax Pokemon, which is an interesting role, I know, I think can do a lot of good things. The last two, you got to talk about the last two Pokemon in this game because I can't do it. I don't like it. It feels like something that I should not have been okay with at any point, but I was, and here it is.
I mean, it's just knowing about Alcremie's signature move and Swoopat's final ability really kind of makes you wonder why we let this happen.
There was no way of stopping it. Swoobat, there was no way out of. Look at the teams we have built, Dean.
Yeah,
Look at these teams that have been drafted. All the top tier stuff that's been picked, Swoobat was not there. Neither was Out Creamy, if we're going to be honest. That was kind of a forgotten mon from this generation. but in doubles, it's going to become fully woke. Even with the Gmax ability that is kind of lacks luster with its Gmax move, Alcremie is a menace that cannot be forgotten now. Tacton is one of the last two Pokemon for Thomas's team with Swoobat. Got a lot to be worried about, Dean.
Yeah. I'm just worried about if Thomas thinks about any of the clutch sets on countering support mons.
Cool. I know you like Klutz. You ran that on a couple of low pony sets back in the day.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see what you can switch around onto stuff.
I could revamp that with a Beware set sometime. We'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
How about just the team as a whole, Dean? How do you see this team finishing? Do you think it's going to be pretty successful? Because I see a lot of heavy hitting power and I see a lot of facilitation just through normal mechanics. There's no designated um, facility Pokemon. All of these can deal damage. All of these can do work. All of these can either play in Trick Room or in speed situations.
I can easily see this team being top 4 without a doubt.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. I like that, and I'm glad Thomas is playing top tier every season with every style of play. He's doing good, man. This is a good team. It's not easy to look at, and it's not going to be easy to counter, but we'll have to figure something out. Moving on, we're getting down to the last end of it here. We only got a couple of teams left. We got Trey with the rebranded New York Knights. That's NITES for Dragonites. Listen, good taste in favorite Pokemon, I just gotta say. I do love the Dragonites. Trey made an interesting first choice. I think he had Gmax in mind, which is fantastically well thought out because we've already mentioned with the low key form that Gmax Toxtricity is a fantastic Pokemon. Sure, it has that quad ground typing that can be overlooked. It's going to do a lot of work this season. Was it a first round pick? I don't know. Is he going to make it look good as a first round pick? I believe that. 100%. I think this is going to be one of those things that, maybe we questioned at the beginning, but by the end of the season, we'll have belief because he did a lot of good stuff with Toxtricity. He just did singles last season. Toxtricity Amped can do even more in doubles. Dean, you hate to see it.
Yep, there's a good old Rasslecat.
Yeah, Leonidas with the spray tanned abs. It's not even real. Like he's a chunky boy. They had to paint him on so he could feel good about himself. That's not even a real belt.
That's just him on fire.
He got fire crotch. We're being totally necessarily mean to Incineroar, but we shouldn't because this is a good choice for Trey. Now that's been re-allowed back into the meta, Incineroar is a menace. We were talking about Togekiss having the most usage per percentage of teams. Incineroar is the second, and it's just been back in the meta for 2 weeks, about a week and a half. It's dumb. It's so dumb.
Intimidate, fake out, parting shot.
Turn, Flare Blitz, Darkness Lariat, Cross Chop, Close Combat, you name it, he got it. It's Incineroar. We've been talking about Incineroar for 3 years. We're not going to talk about him anymore. Well, we've not been talking about him in a VGC format since he got Intimidate. So 2 years, 18, 19, 20. I can live with that.
Yeah.
Moving on. Mimikyu.
Seen a few Mimikyus on some doubles teams, but
not like it used to be in Alola, huh?
No.
No Psychops Snorlax teams running around, even though there should be.
And if for whatever reason Trey wanted to bring it, he could always bring Trick Room Mimikyu. But looking at the rest of his team, I don't know why he would want to do that.
A couple of fake outers. Maybe he's trying to do Trick Room. I don't know. I mean, Raichu and Cineroar, if you call it right and dodge the Dynamax, you could totally pull that off with the disguise. It's good. It's a good set. You have to really be prepared to take out a Ghost and Fairy type Pokemon that's not Dynamax too, because you'll have to use probably a Dynamax move to finish. So turn order and all that stuff being played around with. Yeah, Mimikyu's a good pick. I had it on my list of things to get. Raichu coming in behind it with the Lightning Rod and just great facility team. This is not a very 2016-esque meta, but Raichu's 2016-esque set is very viable.
Mm-hmm.
Fake out, Nuzzle. These are good moves. Volt Switch. I like it.
I think the biggest thing for it, I mean, looking at some of the later bonds on Trey's team, is Lightning Rod. I mean, Pelipper definitely doesn't appreciate any kind of electric move heading his way. I'm sure Blastoise doesn't either.
Could probably drop a Thunder in the rain. I mean, just playing into what Trey's mindset would be. Yeah, this is gonna be a very edgy emo rocking in the thunderstorm team. If this team was a band, Beartick would be Fred Durst. He's the Limp Bizkit leader. He's upset. He's gonna break some stuff. Pelipper sets the rain. That's pretty much it. I mean, I've been seeing a lot of defensive Pelipper sets that are not necessarily Focus Ash because people can Dynamax and Airstream or Geyser if they're afraid that the weather is going to be reset in the turn that in turn 0 to turn 1. That's interesting to me. Ninetales is a weather setter. Okay. Blastoise has come back with a vengeance. It's gotten Shell Smash.
Oh boy. Not looking forward to that.
It's complicated. It's harder to get those kinds of boosts up. Moves running around, but the biggest threatening spread move to Blastoise was Overdrive.
Yep. And there's only 2 of those. Other one's on what? Matt Hurley's team.
Yes.
So I mean, not much to really worry about there. Yeah.
No. That's the beauty of Draft League is you're eliminating options as everybody else makes their choices. Like you don't have to worry as bad. Wheezing Galler, the fancy Wheezing. No, he's very prim and proper, Pride and Prejudice, polluted and powered, and he's got the neutralizing gas and the Misty Surge. Those are 2 great abilities. Levitate for his natural immunity ground. Strange Steam is a cool move. He also has Will-O-Wisp and Pain Split as per usual. Wheezing is great support. Can definitely change the dynamic of a game, but it also would really hurt his own team if he didn't get it right. Drop Flygon's Levitate. It could drop Beartick Slush Rush / Swift Swim. It could drop the Drizzle and Pelipper. It could drop Toxtricity's Punk Rock or Incineroar's Intimidate. Drop Disguise on Mimikyu. I mean, these are things that you got to remember are important for your team. I hope he plays it right. I think he will.
Yeah.
Dean, all you.
And we got Flygon, who is typically a singles Pokemon, but he gets a lot of decent spread moves. He gets he gets Boom Burst, or he did anyway. Gets Earthquake. Does he get Heat Wave?
Bug Buzz and probably Heat Wave. Yeah, you're probably right.
I mean, he's got good utility. You can run him physically, specially. He's got decent
nice boost.
Yeah.
Life Orb. Yeah.
I mean, he's just an all-around good mon.
It hits like a truck, and it gets access, ladies and gentlemen, to Sheer Cold.
It's just ridiculous. He gets both Slush Rush and Swift Swim.
Yep. And it can set up either now with Dynamax. He doesn't have to rely on something else to set it up. but Trey has the two that set it up. He has Alolan Ninetales and Pelipper. He has the two weather setters for ice and snow, or ice and or snow and water.
Overall, this team's just
Huh.
it's going to be rough
Yeah,
to plan for. I mean, you got weather wars to
I
consider.
think so. There's a weather war. Um, yeah, there's some glaring weaknesses in Trey's team, but there's also some really cool ability shenanigans, and it's just going to be a constant switching game with him. You'll have to get the right rotation, I think,
Yeah,
because he's going to try to play around you, and he's going to try to make you play in his scenario, and that's something Trey's always been good at. He's just finally built a team to accommodate that. Pretty
yeah.
good.
It's like
I don't anticipate. I've got to play him first. I've got him. I've got him the very first week, so we'll see how that goes.
just move on into Nate's team, rebranded as the Golden State Whimsicott. Of course,
Wonder
Whimsicott.
why? What's his first pick?
Oh, look at that! It's Whimsicott.
Cot is the worst. It gets everything. It gets so much stuff, and it still hits hard, even with the investment it gets. You put whatever berry or whatever item you want on it, put whatever moves you want on it. Round, and I was afraid that Nathan was going to get it, and here we are. This is it. This is the reality of the nightmare that we chose to create. I don't want to talk about Whimsicott anymore.
No,
Scrafty. Hey, let's make it on a good note here. Look how many Pokemon on Nathan's team have a nice smile. Whimsicott, Scrafty's is upside down, but it's still there.
Cofagrigus has a
Torkoal's
nice smile,
happy. Torkoal's laughing so hard he's spewing milk out his nose.
and his back.
Uh, yeah, Clefairy's smiling, Greedent's smiling, Gorgeist has two smiles. Chandelure is, Uwu smiling. Leafeon has no mouth, and then Kingler has like the large toothy smile.
Got a very big underbite.
When he gets Santa Claus beard, you can't see it, so he's just making sure he gets his smile time out. He's like a pit bull. Scrappy, Intimidate, and Moxie, both great. Shed Skin for shaking off burns and sleep, which I think will be a problem this season.
Mm-hmm.
There's also the fantastic fake out sets or Dragon Dance sets for Scrafty. You could run a weakness policy set on Scrafty since there's so much stuff that hits him hard that he could protect through, like fairy types or fighting types or flying types, all of which have very popular max moves. Yeah, Scrafty's Scrafty's a good dude. He's got great special defense, decent HP. He'll do an okay job this season supporting not Whimsicott, but maybe the rest of the team. Whimsicott's he's just there for messing things up.
Yeah.
He's a Spriggan. I like him. Gold has become a staple. There are two weather setters for Sun on Switch In, Torkoal and Ninetales. And Torkoal is a signature droughter because he is so slow. The way that works is turn order, and based off of speed and whatever is put in first, gets their weather up first, but is overridden by the slower Pokemon, which is usually Torkoal. It's the slowest weather setter in the game.
Yeah.
Grius, slow, thick, mummy, solid ghost typing. There's not a lot of dark and ghost in the meta right now. That's the only things that take Cofagrigus out. And with Dynamax, even those don't really even tickle it because you can build him well.
Mm-hmm.
He likes Trick Room, he likes Pain Split, he likes Will-O-Wisp. Those are the things that Cofagrigus likes. But Dynamax Cofagrigus isn't that bad. I think big spoopy hands would be kind of cool to see a couple times.
Be unsettling the first couple times you see it, but
Yeah, and he could be Phantom Force Cofagrigus, I think, right? And do some physical damage and drop that defense and then hit it again. Cool. He's a cool dude.
yeah.
Fairy. with
Very,
one tooth.
Friend Guard being reintroduced with the release of Home is, really great for Clefairy.
Really good for other Pokemon too. Pokemon like Scrafty that without a Roselli berry would just die to certain fairy moves. With Clefairy supporting, I think it could live. I think Clefairy supporting Scrafty in a certain Assault Vest build could probably live a Hyper Voice from Sylveon.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's what Clefairy does. He does a good job of just making things better. Misdirection, see wind gravity. The plethora of moves is always there for Clefairy. In most circles, people would argue it's better than its evolved form in Clefable. I'm one of those people. I think it's genuinely better. I love running Clefairy in VGC format.
Well, that's one thing that we've brought up several times last season. The best thing that happened to Corsola was it got an evolution.
Yep. Pop that Eviolite on there and they become exponentially better. Not every Pokemon, right? You can't take Dracloak and put an Eviolite on it and it becomes better than Dracloak. It doesn't work that way. You could do that with Sliggoo. That would be cool. But, you can't do that with Dragonair. You can't do that with Jangmo-O. You can't do that. It just doesn't, or Hawkmo-O, I mean. It doesn't work. So Clefairy definitely reaps the benefits from it. It's solid. Greedent, Dean. You're the Greedent expert.
I'm just curious to see what he's going to do in doubles.
Oh, stop it. You know what he's going to do.
I mean, he's fat. That's his big thing. He's got, 120 base HP.
What's in the tail?
And
What's
then,
in the tail?
could be a berry. But which berry?
Spiders.
Oh no, please not spiders.
Nah, the Gorgeist is the spoopy one. He's next. The running pumpkin.
Now
Pumpkin.
I'm just curious to see which Gorgeist we see the most.
Baby pumpkin, the white dwarf, the little bitty tiny. I think we're gonna pretty consistently see the supersized, the largest version of Gorgeist. I think that's.
Fun fact that if you're hunting for a supersized Punkaboo in Sword and Shield, that if you have a Pokemon with Frisk at the lead of the party, the supersize always has a 100% chance of holding a Miracle Seed.
Mine's been blown.
And they also have a deeper cry than the other ones too.
Quack.
It sounds like
Remember that. MX Quack.
I'd be terrified if a pumpkin came out of nowhere and quacked at me.
Quack, 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 quack. All right, Chandler, go ahead.
And it's hot, it's fire, it's ghost, it's a light fixture. I mean, he hits hard, he lives hits, and you can run him.
Swing from the chandelier. From the chandelier. All right, Leafeon. Chlorophyll Leafeon. Where's the weather, Mansley? Oh, wait. I forget he got the weather. He got the shell, the Torkoal, the Ninja Turtle. Leafeon coming out with fast as flip, boy. We leafy.
Yeah, and that leaf blade's gonna hurt whatever it hits too. Well, not even leaf blade. What am I saying? Solar blade. Right. That solar blade's gonna be mean.
That's what we want. That's the whole thing. That's what we want. Kingler to finish it off. Kingler is one of the final G-Max forms that were available this season. The G-Max move is excellent because it drops 2 stages of speed across the board for every Pokemon on the field on the opposite side. So that's just 2 Pokemon. I made it sound like more, but everything that's facing the Kingler trying to defeat it is going to get slower. That's cool.
Yeah, where speed control's been a big thing this generation with the way that they've changed the way that the mechanic works. I mean,
Absolutely.
you drop that, your slower thing can hit again, kill something.
And its abilities are great. You can custom tailor it to the team you're fighting with Hypercutter for Intimidate teams, Shell Armor for teams that may have a higher crit chance, and Sheer Force for teams you just want to absolutely destroy that have neither of the first two options. Kingler is great. I wish he was faster,
Yeah.
but you know what? In his own time, he slows everything else down, so he'll be fine. He'll be fine. I've rebranded my team. I am next. I am Will. Elite 4 Will, the 23rd version, captain of the Philadelphia Flygons. I love dragons. They're the best. One dragon. I got a lizard too.
And lizards are just like one stage of evolution away from dragons, right?
Arguably, yes. I really hate on you for that one. I think Rhyperior and Rhydon were close to being dragons at some point. I mean, you look at them. They're not golems.
Imagine a rock
They're
dragon.
not moles. They could be rock dragons. You know? That's kind of cool. That's a cool way of looking at it. I've never done this before. 25 years of Pokemon. I've been playing for 18, and Rock Dragon is the first time that's come to mind. Anyways, I put out with the DD female because that is a first round pick, ladies and
Oh
gentlemen.
yeah.
That you should totally be afraid of. I got him. Or her. I got mommy. Thick hips. She swallowed a Pokeball and has not been able to pass it. She got the Psychic Surge, though. I'm glad it's not a Pokemon Splurge. There is the ability, there's her typing. Dark type is a problem, but Butterfree doesn't care to dark.
Oh.
So those two Pokemon are my two biggest facility Pokemon. I think both of them can do a lot for my team. Psychic Surge prevents those priority moves. And Butterfree can do the rest. I can play fast. I can play slow. I can play, I can play misdirect. I can play max with the Butterfree. I've got
I mean,
excellent supporting cast. I tried to just after I got those two, just try to pick as many of the most hard hitting Pokemon possible. I did.
yeah. We see what Rhyperior and Darmanitan are both fairly prominent in the meta right now. Haxorus in the singles meta. I've not seen too much of him in doubles, but I think you can make him work.
Totally going to tap into that because I got to have my Dragon Boy. In seasons past, I've made one work every time, right? I've tried to make um, certain Pokemon shine, and I think I got Como to do pretty well. I'm trying to think.
And you didn't you have the Sniper Kingler set a few seasons back?
Oh yeah. I was running Sniper Kingler there for a while. Like sometimes you got to make the dragons the MVP, okay? And I've had Haxorus in the past for singles teams, but Haxorus this generation has the highest attack stat of any Pokemon outside of Gorilla Tactics Darmanitan. Um, but Haxorus is a menace. There is no reason to sneeze at Haxorus. This thing, uh, Reuniclus, stupid hard, stupid hard.
With the Psychic
It's
Surge on
hard
the
to kill.
field.
Hits hard. Yeah, boy. Um, Rhyperior. Yeah, boy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Uh-huh. Inteleon, which I'm hoping it won't be by the end of this season. I know that. I'm hoping that
That
it'll
won't be
be
until
that
what, June?
summer. Yeah, I want those Dynamax forms. I want those Gmax starter forms. But Inteleon's still great. 121 base stat speed. What do you do with that? It's so fast. Um, Dormammu,
What?
Ufu, there, the Darmanitan, Galarian. That's going to be the one I think I had the most fun with this season. I'm gonna really play around with that a lot.
How many times are you going to bring Zen mode?
thousand. Oh, Guerrilla Tactics is pretty good. I like Guerrilla Tactics. Sim mode is also dope. I think the coolest thing I'm going to have a fun time with is just making people nervous with it because you have to respect Darmanitan.
Yeah.
If you don't, you lose. Oranjuru is cool monkey, Rafiki. You know, he will teach the way. Harambe memes. Um, Great doubles Pokemon period. No one ever uses Oranguru in singles because he is trash in singles. But in doubles, sure, I've got a second normal psychic type. What are you gonna do about it? Oranguru is yeah.
Yeah.
And it does cool things like instruct and trick room. And that's not his main job, but that's usually his main job. And I want people to realize that that's what he does best. I will try to make him do other things just as well. Telepathy and symbiosis are excellent abilities. Um, two Pokemon on my team, being I will let you hash them out. Unless you got stuff about the others you want to talk about too.
Man, I came up. I thought of kind of an interesting set idea for Oranguru and Rhyperior, but I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to let the masses know because it's something you could probably figure out really quick.
I read your mind. It's fine. All right, talk about Bellossom and Ninetales then.
Now, see, this is another interesting thing. I mean, you got the sun dynamic here with chlorophyll. I mean, that's another fast sleepy time with Blossom. And Blossom, doesn't Blossom also get after you?
It does.
So, I mean, you could after you Rhyperior and just something dies.
Yeah. 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 I've got plans. I've got plans. There's going to be some cool stuff that Bellossom will be able to do. It was kind of a panic choice, but I like Bellossom, and then I had to have Ninetales to back it up.
Honestly, I'm
Bellossom's
surprised.
move pool for support and doubles is
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised that regular Ninetales lasted this long in the draft.
the last weather setter. You know, it was the last one. Got him. Got the boy.
think I think only
Well, girl.
one
No,
weather setter didn't get picked.
that. Oh, Hippowdon.
Well, actually, that makes two then, because Gigalith also didn't get picked.
Gigalith. Yeah, Gigalith. Well, sand is not as prevalent if you don't have Excadrill.
Yeah,
So, yeah, yeah. Max moves, you can set up your own sand if you want the special defense boost.
yeah.
Plan on doing that a couple times. The last and final team after mine is our newcomer, Mr. Dan Hurley. Glad to have you, Dan. If you're watching this, I want to thank you for sticking it out to the very end. This is a very long video. These draft breakdowns. This is a 2-hour video if it's been a minute. But I feel like it's been some good coverage. So Dan, thanks for joining. Glad to have you. Thanks for drafting a neat team. This team is after my own heart and after my brother's own heart. This is something that we hold a lot of these Pokemon very dear because they can do some cool stuff. And built this team with that in mind. With that said, I'm not going to reveal too much. I'll just say Obstagoon, that's a Pokemon that was designed for doubles.
Mm-hmm.
To honor Obstagoon. Noivern is frail, but also a Pokemon designed for doubles.
Yeah.
Seismitoad's a menace, even though he's just kind of a bulky frog. Sneasel was designed for doubles.
And not for the reasons you think.
Not for the reasons you think. Everything else is just good. They're just good. Quirky stuff, right? Quirky.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
very well-rounded picks. He got an electric type, right? He got a steel type.
yeah.
Got flying types.
Got his water and fire types. I mean, he's got good coverage all around.
Absolutely. Go into depth, Dean. Talk about that Noivern for a sec. What do you think?
I mean, I know the set you like is what's the Super Fang?
Super Fang.
I mean, that's dangerous. I mean, you know, it's half your health gone through life screen, protect, whatever. I mean, not protect, but life screen, reflect, whatever else you have set up to try to mitigate damage. I mean, even if it's infiltrator, you just set up a sub. Well, you've got 3/4 of your health gone. I mean, it's just scary
Yep.
what you can do with him.
And then Dynamax Noivern, I think, is the key to the meta that a lot of people just haven't realized because think of Noivern's move pool, Dean. You got you got Draco Meteor, which does what?
Lowers attack stat in max move,
Focus Blast,
which raises attack for your
Hurricane,
side, which raises your speed. Okay, he's got a
Fire Blast,
there's a weather control.
Burst.
Lower. I mean, there's more speed control there.
It's stupid. It's so stupid.
He just gets good moves. He's a good
It
mon.
does. Yep. Heat Wave, Fire Blast. It does a good job. I'm really looking forward to seeing Noivern as a support Pokemon, also trying to dish out some hits. Dan, do well with this. I want Noivern to take off.
Gengar. I mean, always being some. It's always been a presence as far as just damage output. I mean, it's Gigantamax form's not legal for this particular format, but still, he doesn't really need it.
Last generation, they nerfed Gengar by taking away his Levitate ability,
That was
but
rough.
it did hurt for a bit. But how many Mega Gengar sets did you see at Worlds? A few,
Mm-hmm.
quite a few.
You know, and
How
that was
many G-Max Gengar sets do you expect to see once it becomes legal? I totally expect to see a bunch.
yeah.
Gengar is just he's a institution.
We go back to the whole Gyarados thing from earlier. He's hanging around because he does his job.
And flavor always has. Those Pokemon, it ain't broke, so don't fix it. Gengar's move pool is one of the most expansive and most easy to appreciate. Um, you name a type, Gengar gets it. Okay, he gets that type move. It's fighting type, dark type, ghost type, poison type, normal type, ice type, electric type, grass type.
Pretty sure he get does
It's
he did get Dazzling Gleam. Does he still get it?
I don't know. I don't know. Dazzling Gleam has kind of changed a lot. I don't know what all still gets it and what all doesn't. Um, it was the tutor move before, now it's a TR, and yeah, but it's wild. Yeah, yeah. Plasmatoad, another Swift Swim Pokemon, very thick. Can be built either physically or specially attacking. Great water ground ability or typing. Kind of like Bargain Gastrodon, except honestly, in a lot of ways, Seismitoad is better this generation because of Swift Swim.
Yeah.
Because of Dynamax, you can pop that Rindo Berry on him. And whereas in normal HP range, Seismitoad probably would have died to certain grass type moves. With Dynamax range, with a Rindo Berry, he's going to live. It's going to be fine. There's nothing you can do about it. Um, hits hard, boosts itself with its own rain, uses it to speed, hits with ground type moves. It's good. I really like Seismitoad.
Colossal's gonna be menace either way you run him. I mean,
If you play it right,
especially with the Gigantamax version being out there now.
I love G-Max Colossal.
I mean, the Volcolith damage at the end of every turn is just ridiculous.
Rosard with extra steps. It's good. It's really good. Um, fantastic ability. Flash Fire is fantastic ability. Flame Body is fantastic ability. Uh, yeah, I mean, sure, he's not the hardest hitting, and sure, he's not the fastest. but he can take hits and he can deal out spread moves, and he's not bad. Build him physical, build him special. I like colossal. Bring it on. I won't mow. I won't mow.
Cole keeps the lights on.
Keep seeing lights on, buddy. Trick, lightning rod Pokemon. Pokemon like Mandibuzz, Braviary. Nothing really else on this team besides Seismitoad. Appreciates electric moves. It doesn't mind at all, but nothing else really would appreciate it too much.
No.
So lightning rod Pokemon is good. Mandibuzz is going to be there for support. I like Mandibuzz. You don't see big Mandibuzz a lot, but I think we might a couple times because he is so thick and can give some speed boosts through Airstream. Some special defense drops through stab dark moves, facility moves such as knockoff, which is a rarity anymore. Pokemon like Sneasel right next to it don't even get knockoff anymore.
That's ridiculous.
So it's crazy. Yeah, the game has changed, man. We've seen it come full circle. Support Pokemon change. Exactly. I used Sneasel to support a Arnia set. Play in the VGC 19 format. Sneasel is it's the best. I love it.
Yeah. So your Sneasel was the talk of the town in Knoxville.
I love Sneasel so much. They're just it's good in doubles. I want to see Dan do well with it. You better not disappoint me, Dan. Sneasel's one of my faves. Yeah, Braviary's great. Seen Braviary really get a large boost because he's not reliant on superpower and actually it's close combat. A lot of its Dynamax moves support Braviary. He's a Tailwind user. Sheer Force is ridiculous. Defiant is even more ridiculous if you get the plays right. You can pick what you want. You can totally decide what you want to do. If you want to run Sheer Force Rock Slide with Braviary, you have the liberty to do it. Just go for it. Lucario can be run physical, special. It's got priority moves on both ends of the spectrum. Physical, special, and focus. You pick a good ability, he's got it. You pick good moves, he's got it. You pick expansive move pool, and it's decent. I give it a solid C plus in expansive move pool.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great Pokemon to pick up at the end of the draft. I think that was very well done. The whole team seems fairly synergistic. I want it to work well because there's nothing that's just overwhelmingly powerful in this team. But if it's played right together, it'll be really good.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of potential between everything on this team.
That's it. That is the end of the list. We have finally made it. You guys who have stayed here the entire time, way to go. Props to you. That was a haul. I feel like it was worth sticking around for. If not, let me know in the comment section. Tell me I'm a doofus. Tell me my head smells like cheese. I don't care. But I want you to tell me. Cheesehead. Do it. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to take it easy,
better be cheesy.
There's no options there. If I'm going to tell you how to take it, you take it. But leave it in the comments section. Want to hear from you guys. Thanks for sticking around, like I said, for this video. You know what would be actually interesting is if you fast forwarded to the end just to hear this awesome outro, go back and listen to the whole thing at 2x speed. Hearing us talk like Alvin and the Chipmunks, and sometimes when I get a little bit of a rant where I'm talking really fast like this, it's going to be really neat to hear at 2x speed. I think that's just something that everybody should try to do at some point, is just listen to themselves talk really, really fast because it's just a really kind of a blur, and you're like, what the heck was I even talking about? That doesn't even really make any sense. But that's fine because this is YouTube, and you can do what you want on YouTube because we're not sponsored. We don't have any kind of sponsorships, but we're planning to get there. If Starbucks or Raid Shadow Legends wanted to get a hold of us right now, that would be fine. I would be okay with it. Just, hey, hit us up. Get us in the DMs. Get us on the comment section. Tell us what we like. Like, comment, subscribe. Go ahead.